The Marionettes by Bo Bergman. A master and lord sits in heaven's hall, and up to hands age has blighted. A skein goes of thousands of strings in all, from each human life he's ignited. He joins them together, and if he should jerk, we bow and we curtsy at his every quirk, and do pirouettes so amusing, poor marionettes of his choosing. We eat and we drink and we love and we fight and die and to earth are committed. We carry the torch of our thoughts so bright, and we deem our words strong and quick-witted. We live in great splendor, as also in shame, but all that goes under, all may lead to fame, and all that can augur good fortune or ruin is jerks on strings, and his doing. You ancient old lord, up in heaven's hall, when will you finally tire? The carnival's puppet dance, spring or fall, displays the same lack of desire. A jerk on the string, and everything's gone, and all humankind can sleep on, and sorrow and evil rest from endeavor in your great toy box. Forever.
Uduasha City, where the sun is a mirror and the moon a shadow, where dancers cavort in forbidden operas, making love to forgetting and flame, where the wealthy play at war with silver swords and silken sashes, where the people mine the dead heart of a burning star for cannonballs and pipework, and where 1,000 secrets hide in a forest of paper and ink. Here the 5 keybearers reside, the 5 who know the secrets of the broken gates of death. 5 only. There is no 6th spire, forlorn and forgotten in the desert. There is no one who looks to the displaced, the poor and destitute and landless, whose ancestry has been stripped from them by foreign looms and foreign sparkcraft, and no one has ever heard of the House of Endings. But this is their story. Their roots pulled up and burned, they stand in filth up to their necks, and that is precisely why they must keep their heads ever high. Welcome to Uduasha, immigrant. May it fear the name of the house you will build. Welcome to Desperate Attune, an actual play podcast about characters with their identities in peril, played by an international cast devoted to fiction-first gaming, collaborative world-building, and complex character drama.
Oh yeah, I gotta get myself into the... Imagine me like doing the thing which I know some people do, which is you slap yourself on your cheeks and you go... I'm doing that.
Yes.
You do that.
Mm-hmm. I'll sign us in, meanwhile.
Mm-hmm.
So, welcome back to Desperate Attune, and our story called The House of Endings. We are continuing from where we picked up last episode. Obviously we are. Why did I say that? Wherein our crew finally got the paperwork registering House Ankhattam in the bureaucratic system of Uduasha, and now it is recognized as a foreign house, a Kethracy house. It has a name with signed paperwork and everything. However, the crew, particularly Moss and Bidruhi, have not told their mother about this.
Keys.
Just, we just cut before we could. It's not like we were keeping a secret.
It's not like you were keeping a secret. No, indeed. But there was a wrinkle in your plan to do this. There were two surprises that came up. One of them was that you have a younger sister named
Uzra.
This is only a surprise to the people at the table, not to the
Yes.
characters.
It's not a surprise to the characters, no. To be clear, you have a younger sister. What is a surprise to the characters is the appearance of Bidruhi's brief fling. A woman who introduced herself as Mumtaz, who is an actress, an opera singer, ? And a Rafik.
I must insist that the fling was not brief. We were flinging around for a long time.
Yes, she has been flung. It is noted. Am I missing anything? I think that was basically the gist of the matter. There's a lot of other stuff going on too, of course. Stories that happen in downtime and such, but I think that is basically where we left off in the action. So Moss and Bidruhi are in their mother's boarding house, and last we saw Saida and Mushfik. They were working on a plan to upstage the Falling Star Sword School, which is acting snobby around them, and I remember you conducted an impromptu job interview with one of them somehow.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Mushfik doing somehow the exact opposite of the thing that I thought he was gonna do.
Yes. It works out.
So yeah, it's fine.
Uh-huh.
But speaking of Mushfik, he also lives in this boarding house.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he can be in the scene if he wants to. It's meal times after all.
What time is it?
We did specify, but we did specify that Moonlit, the mother, is serving food to her guests. So I guess it could be any meal time.
Mm. Well, if it's any meal time, then of course Mushfik's gonna be there.
Uh-huh.
Are you like Obelix?
Uh-huh. Indeed.
No, he hasn't had a home cooked meal in such a long time. Right?
Uh-huh.
So
Not since breakfast.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
let's get rolling on the scene, I suppose. Which is to say, Mumtaz walks over towards Bidruhi quite casually, and then she just takes a seat. And it's very clear that it's not that she is renting a room at the boarding house. It's she talked to your mother, and she is now here as a guest. She somehow has wheedled her way into this, and it doesn't seem like Moonlit is terribly pleased with either that you have relations with this woman, or that this woman is using that for a free meal ticket. But here you are. She has somehow leaned on, hospitality culture to ensure this fact. And so she is going to sit down in front of a home-cooked Kethrisi meal that is being served out for all of you. I forget if we said what it was last session, but maybe you want to add some detail to what is being served. I have a suggestion. I feel like it could be highly questionable bone marrow. Highly questionable, mostly because this is the Shattered Isles and everything is highly questionable.
Oh, Nihari. Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Why not?
Uh-huh.
Sounds like
These
breakfast
rats.
as well.
These rats were fed on the finest worms.
Uh-huh. Yes. Uh-huh. So yeah, she sits down in front of her bowl, picks up a mysterious bone of unknown origin, and she looks across to Bidruhi just to kind of gauge his reaction as she saunters into the room and measures him up. And it's one of those, you're being judged both by her and by your mother for how exactly you will react to this. So what do you do?
This is a great. This is a very character-defining moment, isn't it? So we established that my mother knows that that I have slept with this person.
Yeah. Basically, I think because she told your mother about it.
Oh yeah. And I say, "Oh, Ma, I'm very happy that you have gotten to know Mumtaz already. I'm sure the two of you will become very fast friends. Very, very fast. As fast as it takes Mumtaz to finish this stew and then go away."
Yeah. She looks at you and she says, Now, she mentioned you had some sort of business arrangement at the Chipped Cup, too?
No, it wasn't business. It was very much just, we were just hanging out, Just
No
hanging
bus-
out.
Yeah.
No business, mom. Just pleasure.
Yes.
Yes, if it was anyone else, I would say such a thing.
Yes, and I think Mumtaz, she kind of interrupts herself mid-meal and she says, that's right, maybe we never had time to get to the business proposal. Of course, I understand you've been busy, what with Omid and registering your house at the office and all of that, he says, and
Oh,
then she
yes.
goes back to her boat. And
Oh yes, Ma, there is a very important thing we should tell you. Like, sister and I, we did something very important. And Mumtaz, how about you finish your nice meal, and Ma and Mosapu and I, we sit down and we have a talk in the sitting room.
yeah, I think Mumtaz just cheerfully slurps in response to this.
Mhm.
Like, she doesn't even really properly say anything, but
Get the bone
Moonlit,
marrow out of that rat bone.
yes, but Moonlit definitely just like raises an eyebrow and is perplexed by what is going on. And so, if you want to take her into the sitting room, where I guess you have your weird bonsai tree, right?
Yeah.
You can.
Unfortunately, I am also here.
Yeah?
And I
Yeah,
really
that's what I
don't
mean
want to
by
have.
sister.
Yes, and I really don't want to have this conversation.
Yeah?
No, but I need you to have this conversation, because if you don't, I will have to. So I need you to I need you to have this conversation. So I'm going to and it is very, very cool how we managed to do it, and sister was very amazing, and this should be a family discussion. And
Of course.
no, sister, you must come, and also Usra should also be here, of course. Like, so
But we shouldn't leave a guest entirely alone. We can enjoy our food first.
The guest isn't entirely alone because Mushfiq is at
Mushfiq is here.
he's just busy with his meal. Yeah.
I think she is going to have a conversation with you then, actually, Mushfiq. I think it's perfect for her to get to know Bidruhi's friends a little.
Yeah.
And in fact, she already does know you because you were in the chipped cup and stuck out like a sore thumb. So,
I think. All right, we'll do that first. We'll see what Mushfiq is up to.
yeah, we'll cut back to this scene later. But let's see Moonlit and her two unruly children first. So she steps into the sitting room. And I think she moves kind of slowly and solemnly. You described her as, what were her descriptors again? Sorry,
Devout, worldwide, devout, and piercing.
Yeah, exactly.
And muscular.
Yes. So she's very deliberate in her movements as she sits down, and she has this, muscular build of a woman who has worked her entire life, and piercing eyes that look at you both for an explanation. I don't even think she says anything. She just waits for you to start talking. And there's like a brief imperceptible sigh escaping her as she sits. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. And is Uzra here as well? I think she was in the room anyway, probably.
Yeah, she was in the room anyway, so she is.
So I'm going to take Uzra onto my lap, and I'm going to be very busy playing with her.
I take the hint. I suppose I shall be initiating this conversation.
Big sister, of course, if you insist.
A few days ago. Was it a few days ago?
It was a few days ago.
I suppose it was a few days ago. We were given, for safekeeping, a certain document from Kethris. Document that certified a person, at that time an undefined person or family, as being Kethrisi nobility in the eyes of Uduasha, in the eyes of the bureaucracy here. This led to some trouble. Gosh, I don't know if I'm going the right direction, but I'm just going to push through.
You're doing very good. Please keep on.
I think as you're saying this, we just see like the only movement to Moonlit is that her eyes imperceptibly narrow more and more with every word.
Shit. This led to some trouble there was a bit of a scuffle.
Yes, I heard about that.
Yes, in which we learned that the person who it was originally going to go to wasn't going to use it in a very good way. Was going to make a mess out of things if it was left with him. If he was registered as Cathrisi nobility in the eyes of
Yeah.
Urusha. So it's us now.
Right. I think she's about to start complaining about Alcadar because I mean she knows him and she knows exactly who you're talking about until you get to the "so it's us now," and that actually stops her in her track from complaining, and she just stammers
In the
for a moment.
background, I have a big thumbs up.
Yeah. She says, us, this family. You mean this family, us, that us?
The Ankhattam family, of course. We are now like super duper legit aristocracy now.
How much trouble are we in?
No trouble at all. Now we are aristocracy. There's no trouble at all. Now all the trouble that we would normally be in, it doesn't come to us because now we can just wave the paper and it will go away.
And the families in Ketris don't know about this?
Well, I suppose word hasn't reached them yet.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
But
she rises and she says, "Well, I guess we'd better prepare for when it does."
Don't worry, Ma. Listen, Alcadar sir, he had this like very ambitious plan to put on his cool waistcoat and take the document and go to find the person who it was supposed to go to, and then kind of like and then using the document, he would then kind of like seduce this person by being like, "Oh, look, look this document. It was on the floor. I picked it up. Please marry me now," or something. I don't know. It was very stupid, but it sounds like this person. We can just talk to them ourselves. Probably quite reasonable. I don't know, but yeah, maybe we can see. Anyway, it's all good. We're going to get the land back. Maybe even, you know. Don't you want that?
I think as you say get the land back, she goes from like tired to actually like looking right at you with renewed vigor and interest and also a bit of anger. And she says, "Get the land back. We've discussed this. We are not getting the land back. We live here now. But what they did to our land, it isn't there anymore. Not as I knew it. But you've gotten us into a fine mess here, and I suppose we will have to make the best of it. So, you're saying we're a gentleman family now? Is that it?"
That's what the paper says.
Well, then I guess we had best start behaving like it, hadn't we?
I mean, Ma, you have raised me very, very well, and I have been behaving like gentlemen all my life. Isn't that right, Usra?
Usra just chirpily goes, "Yes!" with no context, not having listened to the conversation at all.
Okay,
And
so thumbs up once again and a big grin.
yes. And I think Moonlit says, "Well, for one thing, yeah, I think I'm gonna go with this angle for Moonlit. You can veto this if you don't like it, but she says like, for one thing, a Kethrisi gentleman doesn't go off on dalliances with." She stops herself and she says, "Bidrohi, she's Uduashan. She's a very bad influence." And I think she's one of those mothers that like wants you to marry within like your ethnic group. Just she thinks it's much safer. And now you're flirting with these local women. Obviously she knows about this. She's smart, but flirting is one thing, and inviting someone home is another. Maybe you're actually serious about this girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you okay with this angle that she disapproves of you dating non-Kethrisi?
Okay, so I see this and I kind of smile and say, "Okay, Ma, we have spoken about this, and okay, so first of all, I did not invite her back. She invited herself back because, as you said, she's a very misbehaving person, very bad influence. just like all these Uduashans. But we are in Uduasha. It's always Uduashan influence, And, sometimes it's like this, sometimes it's like that. And, if we didn't want Uduashan influence, we'd go back to Kethris. But as you say, there's nothing to go back to. So it's just,
Yes, well, if
and
we're
again,
going
just
to be
shrug.
if we're going to be the part of gentlemen from home, then I think we have even more reason to hold on to our ways.
You want me to tell her no more soup for you? Get out.
He looks a bit like ambivalent at the moment. There is this she's been very, very steely up until now, and now there's some of that nervousness coming back into her. And she says, "Is there an aristocratic way to say that we can't really afford giving people free meals?"
Yes, we can have Butler do it.
Good. Yes, she says, and I think she is very world-wise, but she doesn't know how aristocracy works. Why would she? She's been a farmer her whole life, and now a small business owner. So,
I thought the aristocratic word for cannot afford is to be not inclined to.
Good. Listen to your sister.
Sister Moss, she is a natural at being gentleman. Excellent. Very good. I will procure a butler for us as soon as we have... And then he kind of makes mental calculations. As soon as we have 8 coin. But for now, I think...
She scoffs a little bit at the proposition that you're going to have 8 coin lying around.
And then just give it to a butler. But for now, we have no butler, and maybe... Oh, no. It's just a little bit of rat bone marrow stew, Ma. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
She can have it, and maybe... Think of it this way. It's a very good stew. It's very traditional in Kethrisi, but the Uduashans, they don't like it. So she's going to have it. She's going to feel very bad in the stomach, and then problem solved. No more strange Uduashan lady hanging around, corrupting your son.
Good. He says. Now you go back and arrange that, and Moss, he says, as if wanting Moss to stay a moment after Bidruhi leaves.
Yeah.
And I'm introducing more fucked up family dynamics here, because I think as Bidruhi leaves, she turns to you and she says, keep an eye on your brother for me, and let me know if he has run-ins with any other women who are just after his money or our business, or you know how it is. He has to carry on the family. I want you to keep an eye on him, she says, with one of those she likes you and all, but I think she's also accepted that you are not the family's future, because sadly you're not a legitimate child.
Also, Moss has been wandering around in the desert. That's probably not something that a respectable person does. I'm not gonna lie.
No. I'm just establishing a little bit the dynamic here, right? I think Moonlit has that she loves you because you're her child, but unlike Bidruhi, you don't have the responsibilities, which also means you don't have the privileges. So it's one of the slightly hurtful things where she is basically, mind Bidruhi because what he does actually matters, and what you do, well, it's your own life.
I think she feels that. She doesn't address it immediately, but she's just kind of leans back and is like, I'm not a policeman.
I know, but you're a good deal more sensible. Sometimes I feel there's nothing at all of me in that boy.
Well, she seems very distracted. Takes a breath. We put a lot of effort into that land. Might not be a lot left, none of it left, but we have some tools now. Might it not be worth looking at what we can salvage?
As you say, he says, and I think there is very little hope in her for the past. I don't think she is inclined that way, but But she's not going to stop you from looking into it.
She chuckles.
Hmm.
Well, I'll go make sure my little brother doesn't get himself into another mess. Or another Udawashi. And she gets up and leaves.
Yeah. Good. Meanwhile, the mess. So,
The mess in the mess.
yes.
Very good.
Oh!
Nice.
So the woman, while this has been going on, has turned to Mushfik and says, did everything work out with that ruffian who was accosting you in the street? It was the talk of the town at the Chipped Cup, you know?
Okay, I'm thinking about how to play this.
It was a very public scuffle you had, right? You guys still have a lot of heat as a result of it, so...
Yeah, but I mean, I expect that Mumtaz isn't just this isn't just like conversation, right? She's fishing for info.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
You can take an action to like study her or something if you want, or you can just go with your instinct.
Or you know what? I'm gonna go with instinct and also what I think, what the kind of person Mushfik is. Mushfik is gonna he's busy with his meal. He what she says is like he hasn't heard any of it. He just goes and then he pauses and then looks to her and then says, "Pass the salt, will you?"
Yeah, she will pass it over, gesturing a bit with the bone, and she says, "Well, do you think you will come back in Bidruhi's company sometime? You know, it's an excellent place to look for work. If you need a job," he says, meaningfully gesturing at Moonlit's boarding house, which isn't exactly a place for the super gainfully employed, right? Most people here have temporary gigs in the docks.
And she did hear us basically offer to assassinate someone.
Yes, exactly. So she gauges your reaction as she offers you the potential of a job.
I'm gonna make Mushfik a very difficult person to deal with. He just he's still busy. He goes, no, I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good. He says, and she just kind of leans back and says, "Good to hear you're not in any sort of financial trouble. Is there more food around?" And she would just, if you guys are so well set, don't mind if I do. So she's gonna get some like bread, dip it in her stew, and just I think continue eating because I think you pretty effectively shut her down. So she is as Moss and Bidruhi returns, she is has helped herself to whatever she can reach. I think.
No, but wait. Does Mushfik realize that means that he's going to have less to eat today?
I don't know.
Make an insight check.
Yes.
Right.
Is your character smart enough to know that food has a quantity? I imagine he is.
It's like losing trail rations.
Yeah.
What is it? This is, I guess, a study, isn't it?
Are you studying your food supply? Okay, well that's unfortunate.
Because this is a bit of social engineering from Mumtaz. She's like, okay, if that's how you're gonna be, then I'm gonna help myself. So this is a play.
I think you should just roll insight as a fortune.
Yeah, you can study her in this moment. I think it's totally cool to study her from a controlled standard point of view. I don't think it's risk-free to study her.
All right, controlled standard. I mean,
and the risk you're facing here is her learning more about you.
Okay. Okay, so I take the lower of the...
Yeah, so it's a 4. You roll a 4 and a 6 on 0 dice, but you take the 4. Meaning you do get to know something about her, but she gets to know something about you. And I think the insight you have about her in this moment is that, yeah, she needs people to do kind of a difficult job, and you were not her first choice. She is here because she's a little bit, she's playing this very smoothly and casually. But I mean, you don't go to some assassins you just met in a bar, even if you have a good impression of them, if your first option has fallen through, right? So your option, you are not her plan A.
I gave a great impression.
Yep. Yeah, you do. But you are still quite sure that you are not her plan A. And I think the thing that she learns about you is that well, straightforwardly, I think the controlled consequence is that she learns about you that you are a man used to going hungry, which means that she has an angle, right? So unless you resist it, she will get a sense for how she can manipulate you, which is through your stomach.
I will resist it kind of by going. So she's taking the food, and I go. I'm gonna try to say something like, "Oh no! We can't let our guests have this. This is this is leftovers. Like it'll really upset your stomach. You shouldn't have that. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
like, just at some come around and some other time, and
Okay.
we'll have a better meal prepared for
Okay,
you.
so sure. I will give you a choice here. You can just play it off this way if you want, without a roll, or you can make a resistance roll and actually be in control of the situation, if you do. But I mean, resistance roll comes with a risk of stress.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's worth it because
Okay.
She's taking my food.
All right, make a resistance roll.
Yeah.
And you will resist both the consequence. Okay, so you take 4 stress, but you resist the consequence of her taking any of your food.
Yeah, so I'm like just kind of like I don't think like Mushfik's trying to be too subtle about it. He just drags the main serving bowl just back towards him.
Yeah. Excellent. So she looks a little bit like befuddled at this faux pas, and I think now she has decided to wait until she can talk to Bidrohi, who has manners. But you have a sense of that she, has a need of allies, and whatever plan she had, it has fallen through. And I guess at this point we can let Bidrohi and Moss back into the room.
Speaking of Bidrohi and his manners, okay, baby cakes. It was very nice to see you. Now, please, we are going to have like a very important guest coming over, and so sorry you couldn't stay for dinner. And I'm sure next time you can see my little sister as well.
Yeah.
And I'm like getting her shawl and so on.
Yeah. And I think she says like, "Oh, very important. Like 8 coin important."
Oh.
Please tell me what you know, and please tell me no.
Yeah. She says, well, nothing much, but that at the Chip Cup you spoke of your skill and proclivities, and Omid didn't get you. You're not dead. She grins. So.
Omid not getting me, that was all Shankarabharanam. And I kind of like, I still have the shawl, so I kind of like hold it like a matador, and I kind of like flourish towards Shankarabharanam. You should have seen him. He was amazing. I didn't have to even take out my sword. I didn't even have to like grab it by the hilt and like hold the scabbard and like take out the sword a little bit, so like some light bounces of the blade dramatically just an inch, and it would look really cool, and like I'd send a message. I didn't even have to do that. Shankarabharanam, he took care of the whole thing.
Oh, is he good at that sort of thing? She says, and I think a funny consequence of Mushfik's resistance here is that she does not realize that Mushfik is Shankarabharanam despite your gesturing, because he's totally written him off as unimportant. Like,
is he good at that sort of thing? He wrote the entire book about how to be an absolute badass.
Well, I happen to have need for an absolute badass, actually, or 2.
Okay, if there's 2, then I can come along.
Don't be so modest.
Listen, first absolute badass in the house, Shankarabharanam, no questions asked. Then there's me, and actually, no, what am I saying? Sister Moss, I keep forgetting you're here. You're so good at like blending into the background. No. First absolute badass, always Shankarabharanam. Second, Sister Moss. And like, if there's room for me to maybe, and like he's clearly like, he's doing the false modesty sort of like body language too. It's like,
Of course. I think she's good at this social game. Like now you're playing her game, right? So she she understands totally what you're doing. And she says, well, I just need some people who can show off a little at one of our performances. Oh, I forget if I mentioned, I'm in the Blue Smoke Troupe. She says, which is one of the like medium famous troops that performs in Ash Cloister. I think like they're not big, but she drops the name, and it's one of those like Bidri, he would have heard it.
I think like Bidro is like looking at her, his eyes widening, and he just goes, I had sex with person who was in blue in the blue wow, holy shit, oh my god, that's so cool. Okay, I'm very happy. Okay, excellent. Look, and then I kind of like look around at everyone else. You guys don't know, this is big deal for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she says we are throwing a show for a special guest, and well, I'm looking for a little help. And I think maybe we can cut the scene there if you're taking her offer. Like, we don't have to play out the whole her telling you what it is. Or maybe we do. It's up to you.
Yeah, I think Bidrohi will just say, well, I mean, I'm not bad at the violin, but like...
I'm better at violins.
Yes.
Shit, I should write that down.
Yeah.
I think it's not immediately obvious to Bidrohi what the N is. But like, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that she will probably reveal this to Bidrohi. I think what will happen is that she is going to, because Bidrohi is the one who plays this game, she is going to like take a walk with you outside and sort of relay to you subtly what is going on, right? And it's one of those, the reason I don't want to play this out as a scene is that she's definitely the sort of person who keeps speaking in entirely deniable ways about everything. So, you know, it's a long conversation to read loud what's going on. What?
And that's exhausting to roleplay, sorry for interrupting.
Yes, exactly. But what she is telling you is that they are planning to have the Blue Smoke Troop is having a performance for one member of House... I keep mixing up the houses, sorry. House Ankayat. One Salman Ankayat. And yeah, they're just going to put on a little private performance for him, and as it so happens, the Blue Smoke Troop is performing an occult and esoteric piece, you see. And to this end, he has borrowed a certain volume from the Ankayat libraries, which he is permitted to study, so that he can take in the esoteric message that the Blue Smoke Troop will be delivering him. This is all smoke and mirrors. There's absolutely nothing occult or esoteric about their play whatsoever, but he believes it, and he has been permitted to take out this certain book from the Ankayat libraries, and it is now very unguarded in his house. Or on his person, as this performance is going on. And it is a book that she and her associates want.
Okay. And reason that you don't just steal the book yourself is because of plausible deniability, huh?
She says, plausible deniability? Oh no, it's just, I'm in the play. I'm good, but I can't be in two places at once.
Alright, sorry. So they're putting on a show for the Ankayat family.
Yeah.
They say that it's supposed to be like some esoteric stuff, and to understand their play, the Ankayat person has checked out a book from his library?
Yes, so Salman Ankayat is not particularly important within the family. He's mentioned on the family description, but I don't take him to be one of the big cheeses. So a relatively low-ranking member has cajoled his way into a book.
I see.
And now that the relatively low-ranking person has it, well, it's an ideal place to get one's hands on it. And so probably he will, study it before the play or bring it to the play or something. But I think this is fairly common in Ash Cloister, where there are a lot of these esoteric secrets flying about. There's definitely always rumors about, so-and-so, this and that play, it encodes mystic secrets. This and that play, its aria contains a poem that if you decipher it, you learn the true name of a demon, etc. And
if you listen to this record backwards, it turns you into a Satanist.
Exactly, yeah. It's that sort of vibe. So they have lured in an Ankayat family member with rumors of such a thing. And he has bought it. She has done all of the setting him up for it already. But she's in the play, so she can't do any stealing herself.
Understandable.
And also plausible deniability, of course, because you have a perfect alibi when you're on stage as the theft happens.
Okay. So Bidruhi will ask her. Okay, but like these Ankhat types, they're like, they're like big time sorcerers, nah? They're like masters of time and space or something. What if I try to like take this book and it turns me into like a bunch of pigeons?
Oh, I wouldn't worry about that. Not about Salman. You see, he's come to the chipped cup sometimes. He's a kindred spirit to you and me, she says with a smile. And what she's trying to convey is that Salman is basically a horny idiot. He may be member of a cool family, but,
Okay. I see. He's a sexy beast, but that's all. I see. Okay. I can work with that.
Yep. So, yeah, I think if you want to take it, she is setting you up to be her accomplice in the theft of a book, which she has circumspectly not told you anything about. I think you can totally gather information about it if you want, but, she gives you on a need-to-know basis here, and then it's up to you guys to gather info about her or her target or the book or what have you.
Yeah. I mean, books are for nerds. However, I am sure that after we, part ways, do we part ways with a kiss?
I think so. I think she's still into you. That's honestly probably the reason why she came to you, is less because of your legendary assassination skills and more because, well, she likes you, she's into you, and you made a cool boast in the chipped cup and got away with it, which sends a message, right?
Yeah. And I was just trying to decide if Bidruhi would. I think he's into her. And he's probably like, well, mom's not looking. Haha.
Yes,
we can do. Yes, that's the other thing I was going to say. That Moss is clearly following us.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, but also Moss doesn't care.
Yeah.
But you hear the whole thing as well, like the unabridged, unadulterated version of the pitch that she gave me.
Albeit in a lot of roundabout language.
Yeah, but Moss is smarter than I am, so she can put it back together.
Yep.
Okay. I think it sounds cool. Character.
Yep. I am introducing the Blue Smoke Troop as a faction here, I think. I think they are an opera troupe / criminal gang. Okay. And you made a favorable impression on them in the Chipped Cup, which is part of their usual haunt, so...
Very good.
So somewhat unorthodoxly, I'm going to introduce the faction now and say that you have +1 with them, just because they're impressed with you, and we'll see what comes of it.
Fair enough. That's perfectly fair. How big is this faction? Tier 1 or what?
Yeah, I think it's Tier 1. It's like they're cooler than you. They're, they have succeeded in getting themselves established as an opera troupe that people know the name of, which is not easy, right? Breaking through in show business at all is hard. But they're not like a huge deal. They might be if they get their hands on this book.
All right. Cool.
Yep.
So what happens now?
Yeah, I think the other thing that you probably don't find out, but I think that Moss can piece together, is that, the scoundrels she had in mind to do this operation, their thing probably fell through after Omid and his gang went down. So there's another reason to turn to you. Because you're the reason why choice A isn't available.
Ah, yes. I was going to say something clever, but something we work by Pokemon rules. If you defeat the guy, then you get their position.
Exactly.
And his money, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I just pitch it to the rest of the gang. We're going to beat up some nerd and steal his book.
Yes.
And then the sexy lady will kiss me more.
Is this what you're offering to the rest of the gang? That the sexy lady will kiss you more?
I mean, in terms of rewards for you, there are two things on the line here. One, they don't care about anything else that the nerd has other than the book, right? And he's a rich man. He's a rich idiot who will have, fancy clothes, jewelry, what have you, with him.
Oh, we're going to steal the entire man.
Maybe. And second, of course, she has a client for the book. You can absolutely get a cut of the sale.
Yeah. Okay. Sherekhatam, I see you are not sufficiently motivated just to do your bro a solid. I understand. Okay. Food is expensive. Imagine, this is my offer to you. Butler.
And you just see Shankarabharanam leave, and then he's back fully kitted. Like, okay, let's go.
All right. Yeah, let's cut to the action, as it were. This is Blades in the Dark, after all. So what information would you guys like to gather and start making a plan? if there are no free play scenes, of course. Like, there could be free play scenes, but
I would like a free play scene of some of you trying to explain to Saida that this is what we're going to do. Because I think out of character, great. In character, I do think somebody needs to tell this woman that, like...
Okay.
This is why strategically I am saying BRB.
Okay, okay.
Yes, good. I'm proud of you.
I mean, the angle I can see why Saida would be interested is that it's House Ankhattam. They have secrets, like real proper secrets, right? And this is an angle to get at them, but...
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I just think that someone needs to tell her and then be ready for her being like, what? Excuse me?
Okay, let's do it.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
Where does Mushfiq run into Saida or vice versa?
You can come to the office, I guess.
Oh, yeah, I think Mushfiq just comes in and goes, oh, auntie, by the way, we have a new job. All right. Bye.
We have a new... Who is giving us the job? Hello, please, wait. Hello.
Huh?
Who is giving us the job?
I don't know. You know, when we were in the Chipped Cup, well, you didn't know we were in the Chipped Cup. We followed you to the Chipped Cup.
I actually did know that you were in the Chipped Cup because you made an incredible scene. By the way, anyway, you don't need to know about what I was there for. It was very obvious.
Yeah, so when we were in the Chipped Cup, Mushfiq, Bidrohi met someone, and well, you know the boy. If I had a sister, which I don't, but if I did have one, I wouldn't let her near him. So that's the angle, basically. He wants to get closer to this person. She's given us a job.
I think she, like, as you say this, her face, I think you can see that there is some resemblance in her mannerisms and in Moonlit's mannerisms here. Right? Because it's kind of, her face is doing exactly what Moonlit's face was doing when Bidrohi was speaking to her. And Saida just says, please tell me that there is something more in it for the rest of us than getting Bidrohi some action.
He did offer me a butler. And the fella that we're supposed to be robbing, Ankhattam is the name. He's got a book, I think. Well, you might be into that, auntie. Like it's supposed to be all about demons and all that.
And it's a book that we are stealing for ourselves.
You can see Mushfiq is like, looking like you can see like his face, like the strain in his face as he's searching his mind for information on this, and he goes, we are stealing it and we are giving it to the girl.
I see. And I think she is first of all quite stressed in life. That's just true. And you can see them their feet are still kind of shuffling under the desk while they're sitting, and I think they say, I will do this if you can promise me that once we steal the book, that I can have some time with it before we hand it over to whoever this romantic liaison of Bidrohi's is.
Oh, of course. I mean, we said that we'd give her the book. We never said when.
And I think that she nods and says, well, tell me everything you know, and I guess we are doing this. Now, Mushfiq, you understand that this is incredibly silly, right?
I did understand it, but look, I think we're all getting something out of it. You know, he gets Peter gets his girl, you get a book, and I get a butler. I mean, if anyone should be upset about this, it's Moss.
Is Saida is Moss upset?
Well, she's not getting a butler out of this.
Mushfiq, I think once we do this job, you and I may need to. Well, I think you might be due some lessons in personal development.
Okay, so the thing is, all right, I was gonna play this off silly, but here's the thing: Mushfiq did have someone to help him with personal development, who he no longer has, and I think when you say that, you actually see his demeanor change completely, and he doesn't say much.
You could never be him.
But
yes, indeed.
No, it's not that. He's just because that. I think he's just suddenly like he was in a good mood, and then suddenly he's oh, yeah, auntie. I think yes. Oh, by the way, I've never said what happened to his Ustad. He could still be alive, maybe. We'll
He died off screen, which means he didn't die.
Yeah. And I think Saida just says, damn fool youth dragging me into God knows what. I just... Fine.
Oh, you're not.
And I think, no, go on.
Sorry, you were saying something?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I think, she will get the rest of the details off you. But, yeah.
We can cut here. I wasn't saying anything important.
Yeah. And yeah, I definitely know what gather info I want to do, but yeah.
Okay. We can start there then. Why not?
Okay, great. So I think what I want to do is I have a friend in House Ankhattam.
Yeah.
And it seems that the most obvious thing to do would be to call upon him. And yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, I guess, send a runner. See. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Shahryar is some kind of weirdo fortune teller. I guess he just finds me knowing that I'm looking for him.
Yes, I was about to say Shahryar is you. If I recall correctly, you're fishing buddies with him. That's why you know him.
Yep.
Yeah, you go fishing together, and he's just like a noble who enjoys fishing. So.
Yeah, and he just found me one day, being like, "Hey, man, what's up?"
Yeah, exactly. So I think you go down to the reservoir, probably.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Which is in a very strange
part. This is my vice,
part.
but I'm not engaging in my vice. But yeah.
Yeah, which is in a very strange part of Uduasha, in the lower cities, where the reservoir is it's a man-made lake, but it somehow seems bigger than it has any right to be inside the city.
Yeah.
With jetties and even little red-sailed boats on it. With the light of the well reflected in it.
I was going to say lake and relative dimension in space. Oh, no, time and relative dimension in lake.
Yes, anyways, time and relative dimension in lake, indeed.
Yeah.
This definitely seems like the kind of guy who'd hang out over here, though.
Yeah, it does. And Shahryar is an odd man, even for an Ankhattam. They are the demon house of wisdom and insight. But even for them, he is strange. What do you want to describe his physical appearance? Or?
Yeah. So I think Shahryar is not nearly as old as me. I think he's maybe in his early 40s. Balding, balding and doesn't care about it, right? Kind of salt and pepper hair, medium height. I think the main thing that you can't help but notice about him is that his eyes are very piercing, and they're not a different color. A minor gripe that I have is that cool people always have like green or
Yeah.
gray or no. I
Yeah.
mean, like he's just got brown eyes.
Mhm.
But like when you look at them, it's really like holy shit. Like okay,
Mhm. He has seen some things, yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I think
Mhm.
that you can't help but feel that he's seeing straight through whatever armor you've like put up or
Absolutely.
whatever.
And
Yeah.
as you find him on this occasion, I think
Wait,
that
one
he's
more detail.
wearing... Huh?
One
Uh-huh.
more detail.
Yeah.
He has actual salt and pepper in his hair.
Yes.
Holy
Sure.
dust. Yeah.
I think that the way he is dressed when you find him now is that he's in his like fine official clothes, so like very finely dyed clothes with chains and details on them,
Mhm.
like gold and red and so on. But then he has a very simple straw hat, and he's just fishing. And
Nice.
as he is a
Yeah.
proper member of the nobility, he has like a retainer nearby who is standing respectfully some distance away, and very obviously is like, I'm just here because I have to be, and we are pointedly ignoring each other.
Yep. I think like Saida is just gonna walk past her as she's done so many times and
Mhm.
just like not be like, hey. And
Mhm.
then like I guess the
Mhm.
bodyguard's just gonna be like, I'm ignoring you, that's my
Yep.
job.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, very good.
Shahryar hears you approach, and he says, "Oh, Saida, would you look at the water today? Isn't it just brilliant? Love to see the wind ripple in it."
And I'm gonna look at the water that seems perfectly still
Yeah.
and I will say, yes, it does seem unnaturally vibrant today, doesn't it?
Oh yes, things are stirring. Who knows what's moving down there? Who knows indeed. Have you caught any names lately? He says, and he pulls up a fish as he says it.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna sit down next to him and I will say,
Uh-huh.
I think I'm the one that's been caught. And I think this is like a cool moment where like their feet are gonna go into the water and like the feet are still moving, right?
Yeah.
And now this is the vibration that like he was
Uh-huh.
talking about.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he says, "Oh, the desert wind." And it's unclear if he's commenting. He probably doesn't even know that he's commenting on the demon, but he sees the desert wind blowing over the water now.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, that's normal. Desert wind in the city, sure.
Underground even, absolutely.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I think Saida will say, yeah, I guess you know what happened or close enough. Say, do you know this boy, Salman?
Oh,
Related
yes,
to you in some fashion?
I think a distant relative. Adopted, if I don't misremember. But I could be wrong.
And I think Saida says, well, it seems that the children I've been taking care of have some interest in him. Some job they want to do to try and get a book of some kind. I was wondering whether you might know anything about it or whether, I'd be better off trying to sabotage them, make sure the book doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
I think this is, as you say, this is a perfect time to make your roll, honestly, to see what he knows. And if you roll poorly, maybe he will advise you to sabotage them.
Yeah, this makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
This seems like a consort, right? Like I don't know
think it's a
that it
consort,
could be anything else.
And this is your good friend, so you get a bonus die, and there's absolutely no cost to it. Ordinarily, a noble sharing family secrets about one of his relatives would be a big deal, but not to Shahryar. He's just not cut out that way.
Yeah, which is great. Also because he's gonna be the kind of person who's gonna know loads of secrets about me, and is also not kind of worried that he maybe should keep them to himself.
Yeah.
Shahryar knows that the secrets that you're looking for, they barely qualify as secrets.
Yeah.
Indeed.
He knows real mysteries.
It's a 1.
Okay.
I rolled a 1.
So, what do you want to find out about in particular?
What I want to know is, someone's come up to my grand nibbling
Yeah.
and said, "Hey man, you are sexy and good looking, and I will spend the night with you if you get me this book."
Mm-hmm.
And also, apparently, there's a butler involved, right?
Yeah.
And this
okay.
could be someone not very clever trying to get something that's not very important, or this could be like someone taking advantage of Bidrohi in order to get like a really important magical artifact.
Okay, so I think I get what vibe you're after. So he nods and says, "Ah, yes, Salman. You know, he has a destiny that's tied to this place. And if there are any particular books he has access to, they must be about here. The reservoir and, well, you know, the old city," he says with a like very friendly and yet slightly menacing smile, because the depth of Uduasha and the old city, that's like, he says it innocent enough, as if it were a perfectly normal thing, and it is to him, but he's not a normal man, and the old city is not a normal place.
It's cities all the way down. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think Saida idly scratches that chin and says, right, so dangerous in the wrong hands and nonsensical?
Oh, I wouldn't say nonsensical, but you do need to turn your head just so.
I have another question, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, certainly. We have all the time in the lake.
How the hell do you get sand out of your hair? And I think, like, this is also a question about, like, she can see that there's salt and pepper in his hair, and he doesn't seem to give a shit. But also, it's like the desert wind has been annoying her all this time, right? And like, it's like, yeah, this is the kind of question that Sharia is equipped to answer, right? It's not how do I get rid of the desert wind, Samum. It's some weird, like, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're framing it this way, but you're hoping to get information about how to perform this exorcism. Yeah.
Yep.
And he says, well, there are two ways, really. Air and water. You can pick your poison. One is very high up, the other one very far down. And he casts his line out into the deep black waters of the reservoir.
Yeah, okay. Actually, if the crew doesn't mind, do you mind if I spend a rep here?
Go for it.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is, and the reason that I'm going to lose a rep here is, I think Sharia's bodyguard is going to watch me do this and just be like, what the fuck are you doing? What a weirdo, right? But I think that I'm going to try and study the lake. And the way that I'm going to do it is, I'm going to hold my legs just above the surface of the lake and observe how they move and see how, like what Sharia just said about like very low down in water reacts to the wind itself.
Okay, so you're trying to work on your light as a feather clock to get rid of the desert wind. Yeah, fair enough. Sure, I think Sharia is helping you, so you get a bonus die to your study, and it's a fortune roll because it's a downtime action.
Yeah, so with one bonus die, that's 3 dice. Hey, the bonus die was a 6, otherwise there are going to be 2 1s. I'll take it.
Okay, you roll a 1 1 and Sharia rolls a 6. Yeah. And I think as you look down and as you move your feet in the water, I think the reason why you get such insight is he says, oh, I know this one. And he starts like singing the song that you were dancing to, which is one of those very weird things, because normally people recognize things the other way, but... Yeah, correct. Oh, that's great. Absolutely, yeah. And, so he starts
Saida,
to...
like, just... Yeah.
Yep.
And so it's good because Saida has a voice for song, right? So I think that really helps. Yep. Fantastic.
Okay, cool.
Knows the desert song. Great. Yeah, that's my thing.
That's the scene. Lovely. Does anyone else want to gather information? So all you really know is that Salman is somehow tied to the old city.
Yeah, it was not useful.
Yes, I know what I want to do. And the others can be here with me as well if they want to.
Sure.
So, framing the scene, we are the playful turtle, the sauna / hammam / kebab place.
Oh god, yes, okay, the sauna restaurant.
God, why are we back here?
Okay, where is this located again? Remind me.
Golampit.
Golampe.
It's a
the
Golampe.
industry. Yeah.
Yes.
So the industrial district.
It's where the foundation hangs out.
Yeah. Yeah, all the
Mm-hmm.
vast steam pipes transporting steam from the foundries by the star at the bottom of the well. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
okay. Hot steam pumping, big sauna, smell of meat constantly in the air.
Mhm.
Yep.
Listen, Leo. I keep telling you, these kebabs are like the absolute tits, aren't they? And I'm speaking to my friend Leo, who's a painter, and he's not a member of House Anrakis as such, but he is like a hanger-on. He's like a great retainer.
They are his sometime patrons, I guess, right? They give him huge sums of money or favors on occasion. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just kind of like hanging out there.
Okay, and he likes the playful turtle too.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't like a nice sauna? Who doesn't like a nice kebab?
I guess so,
but,
yes.
Yeah. The main reason we are here is because it's also a discreet place to discuss. That is not the chipped cup.
Okay, so you're framing this as you're in the sauna restaurant with him, like surrounded by steam, wearing towels and so on. Yeah, okay.
Yes. And I would prefer Moss and Sherikhatam to also be here, so that it's not just so that we fill up the room, and I'm not talking to Leo about something sensitive with like random strangers around.
Yeah, sure.
We're here.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thanks.
So you are everyone sitting in your towels in the heat, enjoying the meat smell. And describe Leo to me a moment. Is he an Uduashan?
Yes, he is. He's an Uduashan. His tags are loyal, lovelorn, and giddy.
Okay, giddy.
Yeah, giddy. And I described him before, but like just a reminder, he resembles Dev Patel. So like tall, very good looking, and like kind of like far, sort of like always like seems to be thinking of something else, and like with a smile on his face. Very pleasant guy. We get on really well. Like we're both iced heats. He's got a sense of fun. Yeah. And actually, but okay, Leo, you know this Salman Ankayat, right? This person who is somehow described to me simultaneously as like total dork and also sexy beast.
Yeah, I think I've heard of him. I wouldn't say sexy beast. He doesn't drag too high, but sure. To be honest, he has a desperate air about him. Kind of off-putting.
Oh, that's not very sexy at all.
No, I know. I mean, some people are into it,
Now listen. For example, take Sherikhatam here. This man does not give a fuck.
I know. He still hasn't let me paint him, which, by the way, is a travesty. Are you free?
And
I think Leo just has a thing where he just wants to paint you in a heroic pose, and he has suggested this before. But it's a very boring process to sit for a portrait, right?
Yeah, I think Sherikhatam, he's I don't think Bush is actually having a great time in the sauna because it's steamy, like the usually the smell of food entices him, but like it's overpowering here. The moisture's made his already messy hair like even like messier. It just goes
See,
yes, well,
can't even be bothered to reply. An offer from Leo of House and Rakesh to paint. Listen, this man, I keep telling you, amazing. And like also sisters here, but you can see her. She's like hiding in the steam.
Hidden in the sauna.
I am simply on the other side of the coals. It's not. I am not doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
See, inconspicuous, like crouching tiger. Like Sherikhatam tiger. She is also tiger, but like she's a tiger you don't see. You know what?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I guess I could paint her too, but it's people who don't draw attention, it kind of defeats the purpose. He kind of rambles on.
This is aesthetic challenge to you. But please go.
You'll be what? What did you say, boss? Sorry.
She like jokes like, "Oh, I'll be in the background sometime." You need some players, right?
Yeah. Landscape painting with a hidden person. Maybe.
Where's Moss?
Oh, you can make a book series out of that. He starts scribbling down ideas. Well, he doesn't because you're in the sauna. He can't scribble anything down, but he makes a mental note to self.
Listen, the Foundation is always scribbling down ideas here. They
Yeah,
can never
true.
execute their plans afterwards because they're illegible.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know, it's about the vibe. Anyway,
Mhm.
so I say, okay, this Salman person, okay, not very aesthetically pleasing, a little bit of desperate, little bitch. Also, 100% dork. I see you did not refute that, so I assume it is true.
Oh yes.
Okay, tell me about him. I
Mm-hmm.
have some business interests in him. So anything interesting that you could tell me about, like, I don't know, his likes, his dislikes. You said desperate, like desperate for what? You know?
Yeah. All right. So, here's how this is going to work. You get a bonus die from your friend, and you roll action as a fortune roll because you're just gathering information. But I am offering you a devil's bargain, and
Yes.
the devil's bargain is obviously for you to get Shankarabharanam to sit for a portrait for him at some point.
I
And-
mean,
Yeah.
okay, that's fine because, like, you know, Leo, he wants me to help him, and like, obviously, that's what friends are for. And like Leo the lion, Shankarabharanam the tiger. It's a match made in heaven, etc. But we
So
all
you can
know
take
that I can't make Shankarabharanam do anything, but perhaps we can try to work on it.
Yeah. So basically, how I'm framing this is, if you take the devil's bargain, you will have. I guess you will owe Leo a model. It doesn't necessarily have to be Shankarabharanam, but it has to be like someone equally impressive that he can paint.
How impressive
mean-
is Mumtaz?
Yeah, could be her.
Equally impressive, that's not possible, but we can figure it out.
Yeah. So
Anyway, yeah, sounds good.
you will get. You promise to help him paint someone cool, and you can take a bonus die for that.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'll take it.
Mhm.
6.
And the reason it can't be
Nice.
you is obviously he's already painted you, right? Like he already has made a portrait of you, I think.
Yes, many times.
Okay, cool. So you get good info on Salman. Yeah, I think he tells you a fair bit about the guy. So nothing here about destiny because that was Saida's angle, and you learned a little, but not very much.
Yeah, also doesn't seem like the kind of thing he'd know about.
Yes. So the reason Salman is indeed adopted, and I think you learned the full story of him here with a 6. He is adopted into House Ankhattam, and it is like one of those technically secrets, but kind of an open secret that he got adopted because of his birth sign. He is astrologically important. So it's one of those things, right? The wizards sought out some poor family. They were like, "We'll give you loads and loads of money for your son. He was born on exactly the right time." And so there was this huge expectation on it to become some sort of grand scholarly wizard guy. And he's dull as shit. Is everyone's
You know what?
opinion.
He is now my hero. Yes, absolutely. This is what they deserve. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like not particularly intelligent, not particularly interesting. He's really boring, but he has the star sign about him. So all of Ankhattam behaves like, oh, he's destined for great things, yada yada. And consequently, he's also like pretty spoiled. And he's not super duper high station. Like there's a limit to how far astrology can get you in House Ankhattam, right? So he
I like
is.
the implication that in other houses it can actually get you much further.
Yeah, possibly. But I mean, these people know their stuff.
Yeah.
So he's a fairly like minor member, but because he has this whole like destiny thing that everyone keeps talking about, he has the ability to requisition things that are normally out of the reach for a low-ranking member, such as very cool books from their Ankhattam library. And well, the thing he is desperate for, you finally learn, the thing that he is desperate for is basically like to be cool, like status. But he is just not a very creative guy. He also is like in it for the sex. That is actually one of his descriptions from the book. So he tries to like leverage his status to get laid, but you know, maybe he succeeds sometimes, but mostly he's just kind of a boring guy. So he doesn't have much luck.
And Bidri listens to all this and says, wow, this guy fucking sucks.
Leo goes, yeah, well, there's a reason I don't want to paint him now, isn't there? He's not very attractive either. He.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And Bidder is just shaking his head. Yeah, I think that's good information.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone present in the scene wants to follow up with anything here.
Maybe not here, but I might gather some more information on Salman Khat.
I wanted to gather information on something else, but I'll let you go first.
Okay.
Right, sure. So
If,
basically, I want to know about his comings and goings. So basically, like, if it might be easier to intercept him before he makes it to the play.
Okay, yeah. Just
Yeah.
spying on him and what his habits are. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, where he goes, and I have a contact who might be able to help me.
Oh, interesting. More
Yes.
contacts.
Yes. Well, this was your wish. Here we
Yeah.
are.
Excellent.
Okay. So sorry, I've got too many character sheets open.
Uh-huh.
Yes, my my contact is RuPaul, a driver. So he'd know.
Uh-huh.
And RuPaul, I've marked down, he's a racing enthusiast, and RuPaul, particularly on straight tracks. And RuPaul is absolutely a real Bengali name. And if anyone wants to make any connections here with anything,
Uh-huh.
you know, I'll just leave that up to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh-huh. Okay.
I haven't got many other tags for him though, except that he's a racing enthusiast.
Okay, yes, he's a racing enthusiast. Now, how do I play Rufal? This is...
What does he race? And I guess in the Colosseum, right?
Goats, I guess. I don't know. What do you
Chariot,
think?
goat chariot races in the
Yeah.
Colosseum.
He could be a
Goat
hang
jockey.
gliding racer.
Uh-huh. I mean, the Iruvians have horses, right? They're kind of
Oh, they
famous
do.
for at least the rich
Okay,
people
yeah.
having more horses. So I think maybe he actually is like a horse
Yeah.
buggy racer.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think that his entire personality is just that, just speed.
Yeah. Okay. So a speed feed. Yeah, sure. I'll play him that way then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, he's not
Alright.
like your good friend necessarily, but how are you having him help you spy? Is he just driving you around?
No. I just want to, because he's a driver. I think like
Yeah.
this is something that he like I don't think he's a Coliseum racer, because the way I pictured it is that he is a driver. Like he drives people around, like
Yeah.
taxi kind of thing,
Yeah.
right?
Probably privately hired off and on.
Privately hired,
so
like a chauffeur.
unreliable. So yeah.
Yeah. And he's into like street racing
Yeah.
as well on the side,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So I think I just turn up like so the way I'm picturing it is like in Dhaka you'll see like these rickshaws, they're all gathered in one corner of the street, right? And all the rickshaw drivers are all chatting with each other, right?
Mhm.
And also like wherever like there's a like any kind of event, right? Like people who can't afford a chauffeur, like like they'll, which is actually fairly common in like having a driver in South, like Asia, like they drive you there, and then all the drivers just like while you go to whatever event you're going to, all the drivers are just outside and they're all hanging out and they're all talking, right? So
So you meet him at this sort of place. All of them hang out. Yeah.
So that's my angle. Is have the drivers been talking? Does he know about this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're actually asking him for gossip. Yeah, fair enough. Let's start this with a consort roll then, just to not like do more super long scenes. But
it doesn't have to be. It's just hey, what's up? Have you heard of this guy?
Yeah. So make your roll first. I think you can take a bonus dice from him without cost here, although he isn't your.
No, he's not my
friend.
favorite contact. He's just a guy I know.
Yeah.
So am I taking a bonus die then?
Yeah, I think you could get a bonus die here. It's not you're not asking for terribly much, just gossip. It would be another thing if you were.
Yeah. Oh, hello. He knows everything.
Yes. Okay. Good. Klow has shared a picture of what this man looks like. So now I need to find a voice for him.
I approve of this.
But he goes like, "Oh yes, Salman. Of course I know him. Yeah. See, thing is, guy hires private drivers, mostly, usually, really boring ones. The guy's a big old dull dud. Hey, I think one of my friends worked for him. hey, yo! And he claps someone else on the shoulder and calls over another friend. And then, like, he calls over another friend. And they, the consequence of your 6 here, right, is that he just gets the whole pack talking about working for this guy. And, what you learn is that he fairly frequently visits Ashcloister because he wants to be where, like, the beautiful people are. He craves the status and the sex and the glitz and glam. And he has people, people have worked for him. They cart him around. He doesn't have, like, super regular habits, but a thing about him you learn, I guess, from context here is he never walked. He, like, always has a driver. He always has a carriage. And he pretty much always has someone with him. Like servant, retainer, chaperone, whatever it is. So you can't really ambush the guy, like, just walking down the street when he gets where he's going, right? That said, he's fairly easy to spot because he has as a member of House Ankhattam, he has a stipend, he has his own carriage that he owns, and so on.
Right. Cool. Okay,
so you can ask a follow-up question if you want. You roll the 6, so.
This is absolutely a Dhaka person. You just described some rich kid in Dhaka.
Yeah.
Spot on.
I guess I figured. So yeah, he hates walking. I guess that's the main thing you learned.
He just hates walking. Oh my god.
No, that's a rich kid in Dhaka. They'll drive to a place that's, like, just across the street.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think I'm sure he just goes. He wants to show off to the girls. He wants to appear cool, and he doesn't even use you. What an idiot! Yeah.
I know. The thing is, I tried to get a gig for him once, but he didn't appreciate the excitement. Of course, we didn't really end up in Ashcloister. There was a downhill track. We had a problem.
Let's see. Well, what can you say about these kids in Udasha? Okay, so that's my follow-up question. You don't happen to know if he's going to Ashcloister anytime soon, would you?
Oh, again, like, I don't think he knows, but, like, people talk and etc. Right? And they go like, oh yeah, for sure he'll be going to the Blue Smoke Troop. They made a whole thing about it.
Oh, and if he's not using you, who's driving him then? I mean, I'm sure he's got this. Yeah,
you get the name of his driver. It's a guy who probably used to be, like, more of a taxi guy, but now actually works for Salman. He got hired as Salman's private driver. Let's give this person a name. I think he is. I think he's known by a nickname. He's called the Vole.
Oh, okay.
Or people just know him as Vole. He's a short guy. He is a reasonably good driver. Known to have habits that suit driving a rich kid around in Ashcloister. Let's say he likes entertainment. Oh yes, of course. For some reason, Vole, even though he's short and not that physically attractive, he gets the girls, and Salman is jealous of his driver. So yeah, he's a short, not conventionally attractive, but incredibly charismatic driver.
All right, very useful stuff. All right, just give old Rupal a pat on the back. Wish him luck on his next race, and I think that's everything I need to know.
Okay, cool. And Moth, finally.
Yes. Well, in our lineup of us visiting people we know, presumably from our like list of acquaintances, Mars is going to be visiting a person listed as Ifede, a lawkeeper.
Oh, excellent. Tell me about this person.
So, I think Mars and Ifede are they're basically a very similar kind of person, just from different cultures. Both kind of like a person who used to be a wanderer, who also happened to maybe know a lot of weird shit, come to Uduasha under, well, not entirely voluntary or happy about its circumstances.
Mhm.
I don't think she knows a lot more about Ifede than that.
Yeah. So she's from some different culture, another Iruvian culture, or
I don't. Well, if it is a Yoruba name, I don't think that's. I don't think that exactly fits within the kind of
maybe a Dagger
linguistic.
Islander.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes
Yeah,
sense.
cool. So a Dagger Islander lore keeper.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm gonna be visiting her. I think we know each other because I once came to her about the tree, and it was like, hey, do you know anything about like
Yeah.
growing trees,
Mhm.
growing weird ghost trees, that have been growing in a weird way.
Yep.
And it didn't really pan out, but this time I'm
Absolutely.
coming to her with a different question.
Yeah, I want to add a detail about her if she's a Dagger Islander, because it's a detail I've gone with the Dagger Islands in other games and I like it, and it's that they don't have any sort of like community defenses against ghosts. They use tattoos. They have like wards on their skin.
Nice.
Which is cool because I have been imagining her with the tattoos.
Yeah, so she has Dagger Islander traditional ghost wards you wear on your skin. You don't build them.
I think they look a little bit like the lines on a microchip.
Ah, yes, very
And-
cool.
Ooh, cool.
Mhm.
And Moss has missed a lot about her appearance because she's always she thinks it's a maze and she's always trying to solve it.
Yes. Uh-huh. Excellent. Yeah, cool. So if it is also like probably she also lives in Bunderwest then, like the immigrant quarter, or does she live somewhere else? Yeah.
No, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. All right. So you come to her house. She's probably one of those like local wise people, helps people out with this and that, things and stuff. And I guess you visit her at her home.
I do.
So you knock on the door, or
Yeah, of course. I could do something weird and
yeah,
sneaky, but I feel that would be rude in this game.
yeah. I wonder what your relationship is with you both as sneaky weird people. But yeah. So you hear from inside. Oh, come in, love.
Hi there. And
Oh.
I think our relationship is strangely normal and cordial.
Yeah, I was figuring that. He goes, oh, Moss. Long time no see, love. Have a seat.
Not too
What
long,
can I do
too
you
long.
for? Oh, want some tea? Coffee?
Well,
Something?
tea would be a good start.
Oh, well, tough luck. I don't have any, but I do got coffee.
Oh,
She pours you some.
Got fucking played.
I guess this is just the person she is.
speaking of plays, I'm about to visit one, or I guess it's more of a performance.
Oh, please don't tell me it's up in Ash Cloister. Everyone upstairs are damn snob, innit?
Wait, is it an Ash Cloister?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Here it is.
yeah. Unfortunately.
Well, you got two kinds of people up in Ash Cloister, as far as I'm concerned: snobs and perverts. I'm hoping for your sake you're in the latter category, or else I might lose respect for you.
Oh, there's a third category. It's thieves.
Oh, fair enough. All right.
You gotta introduce Saida to this person. I'm sorry, it's just gonna happen at some point. Oh my god.
I guess I can get along with thieves. Prefer a pervert myself, but she sets down the cup in front of you.
No, we can be slightly cross category.
Yeah.
So what they're doing, they haven't told me that much about it, but what I can piece together is they're doing a performance. They call it an exciting occult angle to it. And I think they're kind of downplaying it. You know, it's supposed to be something that looks a little bit like an occult thing to visitors, but isn't actually magical or arcane or spiritual or weirdly like demonic in any way. Now,
He clicks a tongue. Goes, right, got it.
in my imagination, that's probably nonsense, and either they're actually doing some sort of spell, or this is a ritual, or a, based off something that used to be a spell, but they corrupted it into something mundane, like a simple tradition sort of thing. I happen to have some, and I'll introduce that I probably like kind of surveyed the place where it happened, where it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'll just be like, I happen to have some details. I was wondering if you knew what they might be doing, or what this might be related to originally.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, make your roll, I suppose. And what you're trying to figure out is, I guess, basically what kind of bullshit they have told Salman to get him so interested in this, which might tell you something about what book he's gotten as well, right?
Yeah.
That's the angle. Am I getting you right? Yeah.
Well, and it's also like, is there an actual magical background to what they're doing that, like, we could change the performance to make it actually do something, or we need to really make sure that something doesn't happen?
Okay, excellent. So you can take a bonus dice for Ifede. I think, I will offer you a devil's bargain here, actually, for an extra dice. And it's that Ifede will get interested in this actual lore, and she will want to go to the play. Like, you'll have to bring her.
I mean,
Bring her.
That's immediately solved. Zaida needs to meet her. I will take that.
Yeah.
Also, do tell me if I'm overstepping with just like introducing this potential
No, I love it.
occultness into it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Great.
So my roll is a 6.
So all of you rolled a 6 on your gather infos but me, but I rolled a 6 on my own problem, which seems to be, that's an interesting dynamic.
Fantastic. So now I need to come up with an actual angle, okay? I have something. So she says, oh yeah, I know that one, actually. Travelers do it time to time. A couple of them really do remember the occult significance. Place called the Peacock Tower. Hold on, she says, and she heads to. She doesn't have a lot of books, I think, because she's a lore keeper, but she rifles through memorabilia, like a shelf full of stuff that she has that reminds her of things. And she pulls out a mask, like a feathered mask that had sequins on it at some point, but they kind of fallen off. And she goes, this is one of the real deal. One of the ones from people who knew what they were doing. Kept as a keepsake. So, it's a play about a god who forgets he's a god. Has amnesia. Happens to the best of them, And I suppose she will tell you all about this occult play. And it's, in its original, it is about a peacock deity, like a forgotten god, except the twist is he's not forgotten by others, he's forgotten about himself. Or themselves, gods, all of that. And this is obviously like the tie, I think, to Ypres and the Deep City. Ypres is one of the districts of Uduasha in the Deep City. Becomes obviously clear because it is a place of forgetting, a place where the city forgets itself.
Oh, God.
And so, it's in this angle and performed correctly. The play, like its occult significance, its spell weaving, is that it can restore lost memories. And it can also be used to strike people amnesiac, which is one of its terrifying aspects. Like to master occultists who perform this play, right? They can actually make one of the actors completely forget who he is and assume a new identity, which is useful if you need deep espionage.
Yeah.
But it can also incite powerful waves of nostalgia and memory in the onlookers.
All right. It's. I don't think I know about Zaida's problem with salmon, but it'd be very funny to just make salmon forget that it's a demon.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking the opposite, which is, wouldn't it be very funny if Saida forgot she was being haunted by a demon? But your solution is so much better for me.
Yeah. So it's a play about nostalgia and screwing around with memory and stuff. And I think since you rolled a 6 and because you accepted this devil's bargain, Ifede will give you this mask, and then she'll say like, you know, if you're planning to tamper, I'll be there. And she winks at you. And,
Great.
As I expect I'll be glad to have you there.
uh-huh. Well, maybe not. Don't forget, I've seen this play performed for real once. Who knows what I'll remember?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
And so you have the mask with you as a token of Ifede's, of your promise to Ifede to meet her there, I guess, and also as a means to tamper with the play. I'm giving you that for free. Use it as you see fit.
Excellent.
Incredible. I love this.
Here close the doors to the House of Endings. Those who dwell within are Zoheb, called Klow, Aadiyat, called Zoheb, Soumithri, called Tree, and Emma. I have been Prince, your host. Our city of Uduasha is based on Blades in the Dark by John Harper and Evil Hat Productions, with special thanks to Johnstone Metzger. Follow us on Twitter or support us on kofi.com/desperateattune. If you want to engage further with us, we also have a Patreon at patreon.com/desperateattune, where you will get our newsletter, extra content, and updates from Uduasha.
On the next episode of Desperate Attune.
Here's what we're going to do. You wear the mask at the right time. Our little share will give you the signal to sing at the right time. And when it comes to it, when you wear the peacock mask and sing the name that I'm about to give you, remember only one thing. They threw Prince Khattam into the wilderness after it was done.